I'm live. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to Cliff Notes Live. Welcome to episode 199. Add one more nine in there, would be 1999, and I could be playing Prince music or something. I remember 1999 used to seem so far in the future. Now it seems so far in the past. I hope you guys are doing well, enjoying your Monday here in October, getting ready for Halloween and all of that. Let me start off with a big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV, love for the most part this cast of Big Brother, and love you guys that come out here every Monday night to watch me live, and those of you who watch on replay as well. I don't want to ever forget you guys. It just makes for fun Monday night hanging out with y'all. So welcome aboard. And thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, with that being said, if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to my channel, turning on notifications, and yeah, you can hit that thumbs up while you're out there, because being an Aggie, I love the thumbs up. Appreciate it all. Now the Big Brother 26 season is over. Not sure what we're going to be doing going forward. We'll still have the Monday night show, so don't worry about that. I'll be here every Monday night, hopefully every Monday night. If not, very, very few will we miss. So we'll be here Monday nights, but we may be doing some other stuff. Right now, I'm just getting a little sleep. I wish. There's still so much going on in life, but yeah, a little less hectic now that Big Brother's over. It's been over a week. I'm already starting to miss a little bit, wondering what they're going to do for Big Brother 27. I figured this evening that we can go through. I'll give y'all some of my grades, my assessment on the show, the cast, the twists, the gameplay, all that kind of stuff. But I really want to hear what y'all have to say as well. Did you like the season or not? So with all that being said, howdy to each and every one of y'all. All right, let me check real quick and see who all we've got out here to start this off. Glenn Crack Tesla. I love a postseason roundup. Well, then I hope you love this show then. But I want to get your thoughts as well, Glenn. Don't just leave me up here only giving my opinions. But yeah, we're going to talk about it all this evening. Mark Taylor said, I asked last week this. What is your projected winner in Survivor, and who has a good game going and who has a bad one? All right, well, we'll follow that up in just a second. Karen Loveland as well. Let me go through these. Sorry about that. Karen Loveland. Let me read this and then we'll just do the howdies. Karen said, Ron and I made it home from mom's funeral, but now we have COVID. We're back to that again, aren't we? About 25% of the people who were at the viewing and or funeral tested positive for COVID. Sorry about that. Just when you think things are kind of at the low spot, you get a little bit more piled on. It's kind of stuff that just makes us that much stronger, Karen. I'm thinking about you. I hope it's not too horrible. I hope the recovery is fast. Sorry, and I know what it's like doing a funeral for a parent. So my sympathies are with you again this week, Karen. All right, who else do we have out here? Maryland as well. Hey, Maryland, how are you? Let's see. Ma. Hey, Ma, how are you as well? Brian Hosteller as well. I love seeing all these names out here. Lee Strack. Ed's out here. Hey, Ed. Colleen and Vicky Zuzu Stone. I'd like that login name. Let's see. Ken T. Lisa Hayes. Marilyn Sutherland, Marshall Davis, Amanda Lowe, Bev, question, maybe. I will assume it's Bev out there. Marshall Davis, and let's see who else we've got there. About it. So welcome to all of y'all for another episode. The last recap, or the last episode, we'll be talking a lot about Big Brother 26. And yeah, Mark, we'll talk about Survivor as well. So ask me again in just a second. But let's start with anything else going on? Yeah, I don't think there's too much special. It's National Apple Day. We had apples in the Big Brother house my season. Apples and grapes. I'm trying to remember what else we had in terms of fruits and all that. All I remember is that Jackson Mickey ate an apple several apples while he's in the house, core, seed, stem, and all. When he got done, there was nothing left. I remember Nicole saying, I've seen horses eat apples like that, Jackson, but I've never seen a person eat an apple like that. Jackson was just a different kind of person, but yeah, he would put down those apples. I'm surprised he left the peels or the shell of the watermelons with the way he ate his food. But anyway, yeah, I remember. So happy Apple Day. Makes me want some apple pie. Maybe I'll go to McDonald's and get some of their apple pie or something. Said happy apple pie to all of y'all. All right, Mark Taylor. Say, all right, let's talk. We'll talk about that, Mark, because I know you did ask last week. We'll talk about Survivor and then we'll get into Big Brother itself. All right, so what's going on with Big Brother? We're in episode 5 or 6. We're into it. Gotta say, I'm kind of liking the cast so far. Who we've got. I took a few notes, Mark, just anticipating of this. Let's talk first of all. Yeah, we'll talk about favorite. Who are my favorites watching the game so far? I don't know that he's going to win it, but Saul, I like watching him play just because I can empathize with him. He's out there trying the best he can. I'm not sure that he's even the most aware player, so I'm not going to say he's got strategic gameplay or anything else, but he's trying. And he's got someone like Rome out there that is just shutting him down, it seems like, at everything he does. I just feel for the guy. And I can relate to Saul, I think. The frustration of just trying to survive week to week and not sure what's going on. So I kind of like Saul in terms of just personal watching him play the game. Sue, she's like so many other. You get one or two of the older folks on a season of any reality show. She's proving some people wrong. So I'm cheering for Sue a little bit. Genevieve as well. I just feel like she is probably one of the more strategic players in the game this season. So I'm kind of cheering for Genevieve. Now, as far as my favorites to actually win the game, I'm going to put Genevieve in that position as well. I thought that she's had some pretty good play. She seems like she's flipped it's hard to say because with the tribes, you only get one tribal council a week and we're still fairly early, but it seems like she has the ability to influence people and catch some people off guard and all that. So I'm going to say Genevieve. I like Sam. I thought Sam maybe was in trouble a little bit. Andy had kind of thrown him under the bus on that first episode. Remember that? He just seems like he's doing a pretty good job with everything. Now, we've seen some similar types of guys in past seasons that didn't necessarily go that far. After a while, they, maybe sometimes got too obvious or too many people noticed them and all. And he's got to be careful not show up as too big a target. But I like Sam so far. And I kind of like Teeny so far. I thought she was in trouble last week. She was on the wrong side of the vote. And she voted against Rome, right? I mean, seems like that's a mark of not death. You're playing a reality game. It seemed like she maybe could be in trouble. I feel like she did a pretty good job of doing damage control and covering her bases a little bit of saying, I got caught on the wrong side, nothing personal and all that. So I kind of like Teeny as well. The person that really surprised me a little bit, Mark, was Andy. That first episode or two, I thought, all right, here's another Jelinski. We've had a few. Is knucklehead the wrong word to use? I have people that you just think, what are you doing here? Well, why are you even playing the game? And I thought that was Andy's position. And then we saw in the last confessionals several times where he's saying, oh, I want them to think this. I want them to come to me and think I'm so desperate and offer me deals. And I'm just going to guide them exactly where I want them to go. Is that truly the case? Or is that post result editing? We don't know because it's not live. So you don't ever know for certain. But is Andy just incredible mastermind, or is he just getting his feet underneath him? Or is he just getting a little lucky and he's trying to claim credit for it? I don't know. I think Andy is very interesting. So, yeah, Mark, we'll start talking more about Survivor now that Big Brother is done. I gotta say, I'm enjoying the season so far. Pretty good. I like the cast they've got on here. All right, and then Mark, you're saying, do you watch any other game shows? The two I'm watching right now, I finally started watching The Summit, got hooked on that. So it's only 3 episodes. Seems like it's been on longer now, but watching The Summit, also watching The Floor with, is it Rob Lowe that hosts The Floor? That has 64 people answering very basic questions back and forth. And yet it just gets me hooked because it seems so basic. And then sometimes some of the categories a little bit tougher than you expected, but it's fun to try to play along and see how you would do. It's like Jeopardy for people who could never actually make it onto Jeopardy. So I feel like I fit right in. But no, I've enjoyed those two. What other reality shows? There's The Traitors, The Villains, The Circle. There's so many that I need to get caught up on. Just haven't had a chance with any of them because of Big Brother. So yeah, other shows, but for right now, that'll probably be it. And then my old standby from Channel 9 in Australia. Any of y'all, if you're Aussies out there, you probably know. Otherwise, you probably wonder, what in the heck am I watching? The Block. And it's just a home design show, 5 couples, each have a house. They try to design. One week they do a bathroom. Next week they do a living room. They get judged and rated and all that. At the end, they sell a house, whatever they sell it for, above and beyond what the house was worth when they started. They get to keep all the money. there have been seasons where they've won a fortune and other seasons where they didn't win anything at all. It's a fun concept. It's all in Australia. I have to watch it using weird sources that it's not easy to watch. And I learned new words like electricians over there called sparkies, and woodworking people are chippies and things like that. So yeah, I feel like I'm just a pseudo Australian sometimes when I watch a show. Those are the shows I watch, Mark. But nothing replaces Big Brother. I watched Big Brother Australia right after I got out of my season. I don't think they're doing this Big Brother over in Australia anymore, but I watched it and I reached out to a lot of the house guests over there, and I know quite a few of them, one or two of them we still talk, so that's kind of cool as well. All right, Karen Loveland is saying, who would Chelsea have taken if she won the HOH? All right, back to some Big Brother questions. I think in heartbeat, and let me say this ahead of time, I have not watched a lot of the post-season interviews with anyone. I've seen them on live out there a few times, things like that, but I really have kind of tried to avoid watching any of it, just as I kind of caught my my breath a little bit. I'll watch it all there. So she may have said something differently, and if so, y'all tell me. But my guess is that Chelsea, she was there to play the game, and she wasn't going to let loyalties or anything else stand in the way like Mackenzie did. I can't believe she did that. I think Chelsea takes Cam. I think Chelsea realizes that Cam is a slam dunk. Now, turns out Mackenzie was as well, but I'm not sure Chelsea thought that would be the case when it came down to it. If Mackenzie took Chelsea to the end and still got beat by a unanimous vote, if Chelsea had taken Mackenzie to the end, surely it would have been even more unanimous. I guess you can't do better than 100%, but yeah, I think Chelsea would have taken Cam just to make sure. She wasn't there to mess around. I got to say, I don't think she played a perfect game, but Chelsea played one heck of a game, and she was, at the end, she was the one deserving of the grand prize at the end of this thing. I would have been happy if Mackenzie won, but Chelsea is the one who deserved it. She played leaps and bounds above any of the others, I think, in terms of strategy and everything else. Now, we had other super fans there. We had people like Quinn and Joseph. They just didn't quite have a handle on the game the way Chelsea did. I feel like Quinn and Joseph both were a little too aggressive in Quinn's standpoint. Joseph too. I think he burned some bridges by sometimes, not in his actions, but in his words, getting a little too aggressive. Remember, he told Angela, said, hey, it's amazing that you're even here now. You shouldn't just be grateful for what you got and all that. Yeah, he could have handled the social game a little bit better than he did, but Chelsea handled it all well. I thought she did very, very well throughout the show. So yeah, very much a deserving winner. I think she would have taken Cam without hesitation. She would have said, sorry, Mackenzie, and I'd still love to get your vote, but she would have taken Cam. All right. Ma is saying, any plans for the 200th episode? Yeah, next week is number 200 of the show. That works out to just almost 4 years worth of Big Brother of Cliff Note Live, right? God, that's incredible. I've gotten to do it all with you guys. I appreciate it. But the answer, Ma, is probably not. Maybe I don't think I'm wearing a tuxedo. I don't know. Probably not a whole lot of anything because I'm just so exhausted after the Big Brother season. We may hold off and do 250, the sesquicentennial episode or something instead. Of course, that's a year from now, right? 2 weeks short. I don't know. We'll see. We'll do something later on in the off season, but it was just a long through between watching all the live feeds for Big Brother and commenting on that, and then my own personal stuff with my mom losing her and all that. It's just been a long summer, and I just feel instead of doing a special anything on my 200th episode, kind of just feel like crawling into bed and hibernating like a grizzly bear. Lord knows I snore like one. That's what my Big Brother housemate said. But yeah, no, I think we'll just kind of play it cool. Which doesn't mean I won't mention it next week. And I would love to have y'all all out here, and we'll recognize it. We're just not going to do anything incredible because I'm just kind of damn tired. All right, let's see. Kennedy Franken. Hey, Kennedy, how are you? Glad to see you out here, Kennedy. Kennedy is saying, anyone else miss Big Brother? Yeah, 1 week out, and I'm not missing watching it overnight. It got so slow there at the end. There's a sweet spot. The first part of the season, there's so many conversations trying to hash out which ones are actually important versus people just kissing up and trying to stay involved. The first part is a little tough. The end is miserable when there's very few people and they're saying the same things that you've already heard for 7, 8, 9 weeks straight. But that little sweet spot in the middle, when you've got 12 people to 6 people or so, that's always my favorite part of the season. But yeah, I'm missing. I'm not even missing the cast that much. I feel like we learned what we needed to learn about this cast. It was time to move on. I'm excited about thinking who right now has no clue that they next summer are going to be in that house doing this show. Now there may be 1 or 2 people who didn't quite make it this season, and they're already gung ho. They're thinking about the next season, but for the most part, no one knows. We're there. Could be a few of y'all out here watching this show. I hope so. I so hope so. But yeah, I'm looking forward to finding out new cast. I always talk at the start of every season. We don't know who these people are. They release the cast list, and within 24 hours, we know way too much about these people. And then I couldn't keep their names straight for the first 2 or 3 days. And now it's just, you feel like they're long lost friends or enemies, I suppose. But we know each one of them so well. At least we know who they are playing the game. Outside the game, I haven't met any of them in person yet. I'm looking forward to doing that and figure out who they really are, what really makes them tick. So I am looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm not saying I'm missing Big Brother yet, but it'll come. It's going to come when we don't have reindeer games or celebrity Big Brother or Big Brother Canada. We got to find something to replace it. We'll just have to do our own version of Big Brother or something. That could be interesting, huh? I know there's people who do online versions, but yeah, that'd be kind of cool. We'll see. All right, Vicky Zuzu Stone. Hey, Vicky, saying Mackenzie should have won. Her only flaw was not taking Cam to the final 2. I won't say that's her only flaw, but I do agree. I think that her not taking Cam was absolutely a $750,000 mistake. Isn't that something? Oh man, $750,000. I tell you what, if I knew I was that close and didn't win, every time I walked outside and I don't know, saw I don't know, saw it. Every time I walked outside, saw my car. Every time I went to the grocery store, I had to pay for groceries and saw how much prices are. Everything, I'd be saying, "Oh God, why wouldn't it be great to have $750,000 just sitting in that bank account?" Yeah, I could have fun with 750,000. But yeah, and again, there's every person who gets out of that house. I guarantee, well, maybe not Kenny, but everyone else this season probably looks at 1 or 2 things that they did in the house, thinking, if I just done this differently, I could have gotten to the end. If I had just done this, if I just known this, every one of us has 1 or 2 things that you think about. And you think about, if I'd done this, then this would have happened, this would have happened, this, and you build your way all the way to the end and you try to see that path that may have gotten you there. The quicker you got evicted, the harder it is to find that path. Myself getting voted out in 4th place, it wasn't a slam dunk. And I've looked at 1 or 2 things I could have done differently, and there's no path I see where it's just, oh man, you would have guaranteed won if you got in there. There's things that maybe would have improved my chances. Now that I know everything that I know, 1 or 2 things that may have helped, but no guarantees. But when you get as close as Mackenzie did, where it's just one decision, yes or no. Hey, this was the year of the computer AI and all it. The bit. It was either 1 or 0, on or off. That was Mackenzie's situation. She went the wrong direction with that binary response and took the wrong person, and it cost her $750,000. Well, about $250,000 once you pay taxes to the federal government in the state of California. But other than that, yeah, it's hard. I don't think she can say I've seen some things where she stands by it. It was about loyalty and all that. Maybe so, but I truly hope that if she truly had known it was going to make the difference between winning or losing, she would have done differently. She would have taken Cam. That she's just kind of covering a little bit by what she says, because if truly loyalty was more important than $750,000, and all I can say is you got too much money to start with, because yeah, I'd like to think I'm a nice guy, but I would have done whatever it took to win at the end if I just known that's what it was going to take. All right, let's see. Colleen is saying, missed the news that there wasn't a reindeer games. It wasn't going to be, won't be reindeer games. Well, we don't know that for certain, I think. Did they say why or give a reason? I don't think they've said one way or the other, Colleen. The fact that it was not mentioned as part of the finale by Julie Chen, and I haven't heard anything about CBS saying that there's going to be anything about it. Because of all of that, it just makes me think that probably not. Now, last season, the season wrapped up later in the year. I mean, remember, it was like reindeer games started just a few weeks after the end of Big Brother 25 because of the writer's strike and all of that. So I've heard some people say, well, it's just maybe they knew by the end of the season, whereas they don't necessarily know now. And that could be the case. Maybe they are still going to have something happen. But I will say this. When I got out of my season, when we're standing on the stage, Mick Jackson had just come out and gotten the confetti. They just announced Nicole as America's favorite player. We're all standing around talking to each other and all. I came up to Julie Chen and said, Julie, is there going to be a Celebrity Big Brother coming up? You know, are y'all going to do it? And she said, yeah, Cliff, I don't think we're going to do it this winter. We're going to do the Winter Olympics, let Winter Olympics happen, and maybe next year instead. So she already, and our season ended September 23rd, 26th, something like that. And they already knew then that they weren't going to be doing Celebrity Big Brother. So I would think they would already know, at least have a very good idea if they were going to do something like that this season. Since they didn't announce it as part of Big Brother, I really thought that when Janky came back alive, that actually it was going to be to announce that we were going to have some kind of off-season winter type competition. Don't think that's the case. I'd love to see another Big Brother over the top. We had it with Alex and Haley and Jay. We had some fun players in that Big Brother over the top season. I'd love to see that come back. Have it all online. You don't even have to put it on TV. Only give them 100,000. Yeah, whatever you want to do to make it work. But we've reached the point. You don't have to have everything on TV, right? You could just have stuff on the computer. And if it's still done by the same people inside the same house, you'd have all kinds of people signing up for Paramount Plus. I think it would bring in all kinds of revenue. Give us something. Give us something to bide the time away during those cold, hard winter days. Or here in Texas where it gets kind of lukewarm during the winter time. But yeah, I'd love to see something, but they have not announced it yet. I don't think they've officially said, no, we're not doing it. They just haven't announced it yet. All right. What else do we have on here? At one point, I'm going to get to these recaps, guys, season reviews. I'll tease y'all till we get closer to it. Ken T is saying the cast was partying good after the finale. They were putting on Instagrams, and other platforms. Yeah, I saw a few of those, and I've gone out once or twice to some of the live Instagrams. The problem is when you go out to a live Instagram, it shows when you join. And every time I go out there, people, oh, Cliff. And I don't want to take away anyone's thunder that's new to the thing and all that. So I don't always go out there because I want them to be able to enjoy their time and have their fun as they do this. But yeah, I have seen people out there. You know, we had for a few seasons, everyone was going to Todrick's house and hanging out forever. And seems like maybe they're not doing that so much, but I have seen them hanging around a lot with each other. It is incredible. I think a lot of people don't realize that you spend so much time together, whether it's in the main house or the jury house or just the shared experience. But when you get out, some people can't get past things that happen inside, and they'll always carry grudge. There'll always be a little bit of animosity or whatever. And sometimes, I mean, Big Brother tries to take 16 very different people. And so sometimes you'll have people that just don't get along because they're just different people. But for the most part, it's a shared experience. And I think people enjoy hanging out with each other. And so we're seeing a lot of that. Now, myself, I was in a different situation because I had my family there with me in California. I was so ready to come back home and see my extended family. My mom and my brothers and everyone. So I was ready to come back, but that doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy still chatting and hanging out with the rest of my house guests. And I still do it with a lot of them. They're enjoying it. After our season, we did have a big party. I think I've mentioned this before. Big party downtown LA somewhere the night after the wrap party. And it was so much fun just seeing thousands of people, a lot of people, right? Not thousands, hundreds of people though, hanging out. And we had a little roped off section just so we could go in and kind of not get overwhelmed. And I had my other cowboy hat like this one, and I got all my castmates to sign the hat, and that's one of my favorite souvenirs. And we just got to enjoy being with each other without the pressure of having to backstab and betray and have the pressure of all doing that. So yeah, they're enjoying their time. I've reached out pretty much to all of them that have social media and said, hey, enjoy the ride, enjoy the experience. It's not over quite yet. Have fun with it. I look forward to meeting you at some point in the future. And I do, each and every one of them. But yeah, they're having fun. And I hope they do. Now, my problem was we did that for a little while and then COVID hit. So I had my couple of months of running around. But even while I was supposed to be doing some meet and greets, they were having casting calls for Big Brother 22. I was supposed to go to New Orleans to do one of those, go to Austin to do one of those. All got shut down for COVID. All of a sudden, I start getting text messages from production people, casting, saying, "Yeah, we're shutting it down, Cliff. Don't come to New Orleans because we're not going to be there." And then the world went crazy for a year. Yeah, it kind of short circuited some of my stuff. But look on the bright side, because I was home and didn't have a whole lot going on, that's why I started doing Cliff Notes live. So in a different world, who knows what would have happened. All right, let's see what we've got on here. Bev77, do you apply for Survivor each year? No, I don't. Maybe I should. It'd be fun to be on that show. But yeah, no, I did I read that right? Hold on, let me go back to that. Well, I can't find. Hold on a second. Oh, can anyone? I can't read it. Sorry. Ask me again because I missed it and I wasn't sure I understood it. All right, let's see. What's the other one? Misfire saying, "Are you watching BB UK?" No, I'm not. I didn't realize it was on, but now I might. Big Brother UK is a little bit different because the audience votes everyone out, right? I think, if I recall, and I've seen one or two seasons, bits and pieces, I think the cast in the house puts two people up for nomination. Tell me if I'm wrong, Miss Herbert. I think they put up the two people for nomination, and then the viewing public chooses which of those two goes home. I would be curious to see how would that have affected my season or any other season of Big Brother if it was the people at home that were picking who went home each and every week. I'd like to think maybe I'd do a little better. I don't know. I still did all right. So it would have been interesting trying to play to the audience more so than just playing to the other house guests in the house. It's just a different gameplay. You can do that. But yeah, I need to go check that out because I didn't even know it was on. So I'll have to go check that out. All right, let's see. 45 is saying, let's see. Oh, YG, sorry, YG saying, would you, who would you want on Celebrity Big Brother? Is that what you're asking? I don't know. I'd love to get Neil Patrick Harris is a huge Big Brother fan. Would he do it? Probably not. Rihanna is a huge Big Brother fan. Would she do it? Almost certainly not. They're a little too far up the celebrity list to make it on there. How about Jerry O'Connell? He was host. I'd love to see him get in and try to play a game of Big Brother, just to see how he did. Who else? One of my favorite celebrity Big Brother people of all time was Tom Green, who was on. Was that season 2? He was so much fun. I saw he was in the finale of my season, but by the time we got done with the stage, he was already gone. I wish I could have gone and said hello to him. I don't know. I have to think about who I'd want on a celebrity version. They've got to be someone. We've had this last season of Celebrity. I thought was a little rough around the edges. I would want to have people. I think you have to be a celebrity, but also love the game of Big Brother. I don't want people I don't think who are there just because they're trying to improve their image because they got caught doing something stupid and now they're trying to get back in front of the public. I don't want that. I want people who like the game of Big Brother. They're there to have fun, not to improve their image. So I'd like to see that. Now, I tell you who I'd like to see, and I told him this when I met him last summer, Vanilla Ice. He was on a show called The Surreal Life, which was a little bit like Big Brother, except you don't vote people off. But I saw him backstage at a concert, and I said, "Man, you need to do Big Brother. That'd be so much fun watching you play." Because people, I think, would underestimate him. They say, "Yeah, I'm not doing any more of those reality shows. Don't think I'll be doing it." But I'd love to see someone like that on the show. I don't know. I'll have to think about that some more. It would be cool to see who. Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris and Rihanna would be my top ones, I think. All right, Karen Hummer saying, will you try to meet some of the house guests from this season? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to meet each and every one of them. I would think that Mackenzie's down here in Houston. Brooklyn's up in Dallas. Brooklyn is friends with Kat. So it could be that those two certainly would be the easiest maybe to meet. The folks on the East and West Coast, they may not come to Texas as much. And, we'll see. I'd love to head over either direction, but yeah, I'd love to meet each and every one of them. Certainly, if they're in a city and I'm in a city, I'm going to be tracking them down. And they're going to say, Cliff, he's such a stalker. Everywhere we go, Cliff's trying to show up and meet us. I'd love to, because I know that who you see on the show is not who you necessarily see in real life. These folks all have families, friends. They're just regular people. I think they are. I assume they are, except for one or two. No, I think they're just regular people who we just only saw that weird version that you get inside the house. I don't know. Kibo may sing on a daily basis everywhere he goes. Quinn maybe is over the top everywhere he goes. Angela maybe is much as she was in the house. I don't know, but that's why I'd love to meet them and see. There's no one this season that I wouldn't be excited to meet, shake their hands, and say, "Yeah, you did great." Even Kenny. Now, if I saw Kenny, I'd say, little tougher than you thought, huh? I found out Kenny would try it out the same season I tried out. He's been trying it for the last 5 years. So I picture a situation where casting was looking at a picture of Kenny and looking at a picture of me and said, who do we go with? Well, which of these two is going to fit in? And they picked me. I feel so grateful. But yeah, I'd love to visit with Kenny and just say, yeah, being an old guy in there, kind of hard, isn't it, my friend? And see what he was thinking. Cause it definitely was an adjustment that first couple of weeks. Yeah. I got banished on day number 1. I was put on the block week number 1. There were times I felt like Kenny of thinking, this is crazy. But I was never wanting to leave. I certainly never vocalized that to anyone at all. Kenny took a little different approach. I'd love to talk to him about it. So yeah, I'd love to meet everyone that played this season and just find out what they truly were thinking at different parts of the season itself. All right, let's see, 7:36. All right, we'll cover it in a second. Ken T is saying, have you noticed that every Big Brother 26 cast was smiling in their cast photos except Joseph? Was he trying to give a villain look? Here you go. Yeah, I hadn't noticed that. Crazy eyes. No smile. Yeah, it looks like everyone else is smiling. All right. Well, then see, there's your conspiracy. Maybe so. He certainly, of all the people in there, I feel like Joseph's the one who maybe wanted to play a character more than playing himself. That he saw that as a path to victory. And it didn't work out that well. But yeah, maybe so. I'm gonna go visit his video store and find out just what kind of videos he actually sells, and if that truly is his primary profession as video sales, or if that was just something kind of cute to put on the title itself. It is an interesting character. I gotta say, I wasn't sure how he's gonna do going in, but hey, he played the game. He made it interesting, didn't he? All right, Amanda Lowe saying, was yours the longest season? Close. It was 99 days. For some reason, I want to say there were 1 or 2 days that were 100, 101 days. So there may have been a season that was just 1 or 2 days longer, but no more than that, I'm pretty sure. As sure as I say that, one of y'all is going to look it up, and I don't think it's 180 days or anything. No, I think ours was pretty much the longest in terms of weeks and all of that. It was. Do y'all know they had a version of Big Brother over in Germany that lasted for, I don't know, a couple of years or 300 days or something, that there was no end point to it. People just kept playing. I don't know if they brought new people in or not. I can't imagine being stuck in that house for for forever. I think Cat, while we were in there at one point, said, after being in here 6 months is going to be horrible. We're all like, well, if you're in here for 6 months, Cat, it is going to be horrible because you're going to be alone for the last 3 months of it. But yeah, I remember her not really understanding how long the season lasted. Uh, there's the show Alone, which is on, I think it's National Geographic or History Channel, don't remember which. That one, there's no set endpoint. There's 8 people that are sent out. They don't have any contact with each other. It's whoever lasts the longest. That may be 4 weeks. It may be 4 months because you don't know. You just keep going until you either tap out or until someone comes and says, hey, guess what? You're the last person. You won the $1 million. But you have no clue how long it's going to last. And they do it at the start of the fall. So by the time you get into winter, it's cold and there's no more fishing. It's just miserable. Be a little tough. All right. Michelle Moore saying, are you going to apply for the summit? Do I look like the kind of person that can climb up a 400-foot ladder hanging off the side of a mountain while hauling a backpack behind me? Now, if they approached me and said, hey, Cliff, we'd love to see you on the summit. Go. Yeah, you just be like old Frodo. We want you to go to the Mount Sauron with the ring. Yeah, we know it's a tall mountain. We know it's 1,000 miles away, but for $1 million, you do it, right, Cliff? Well, sure, I'd do it in a heartbeat, but I just don't know that I'm the type of person. Of course, I had 1 or 2 this season. I'll say this: I'm not sure that the strengths that you need in the summit are necessarily the same strengths that I have as a reality TV contestant. I wouldn't quit. I guarantee you, I would be walking to until my knees gave out and I'm falling off, rolling down the side of a hill because I just don't have any energy left in me. But yeah, I'd do it, and I think I would surprise people. The thing with the summit, it already looks a little tough, and I don't think it gets easier from episode to episode. I think these people, before you get done with it, they're going to be climbing glaciers with ice picks and nothing else. I just think it's going to be a rough show. But yeah, call me CBS. I'll still do it. All right, Chaz is saying, would you do the reindeer games? Oh yeah, in a heartbeat. I'd do it. Now, the reindeer games is a little different in that I feel there's still strategy. That's definitely more strategy than I thought there was. I love reindeer games. I thought it was a great way to do a short little season. But you didn't have evictions or anything else. Everything was more or less based on the competitions, right? So it's a little more competition focused than maybe the regular game of Big Brother. And I feel like my strength is the social game to some degree. So yeah, I'd do it. I'd be honored to do it. Would not think twice before saying yes. Hey, dress me up with well, I got the big old belly. Just dress me up with a big white beard and a red stocking cap, and I'm in. I'm all ready for it. Yeah, I'd love to do it. But yeah, it's tough because how many they have last day reindeer games? 8 people. Not a lot of slots for those little short seasons. But I will say I really enjoyed reindeer games last season. All right, Tammy 1960 saying, wish they would do an all-star. I've got mixed feelings about it, Tammy. I mean, to some degree, yes, but I feel like we had some preseason gameplay that really negatively impacted All Stars 22. I just think it was not, if you ask anyone to rank all the seasons, 22 is going to be down near the very bottom of those things just because it wasn't a fun season to watch. And I think it's because a lot of us realized or assumed that there were a lot of people who had already developed some alliances and stuff before they ever got in that house. I'll say this. Because I guess there was some thinking right after our season that Nicole, myself, David, Alex, there were maybe, Christy, maybe there were probably a handful of us that potentially could have come into an all-star season or something. I had a few people reach out, and I'm not going to give any names, but I had a few people reach out. They didn't explicitly say, hey, Cliff, if you happen to get on All-Stars, would you like to be in an alliance? It wasn't any of that. It was more like, hey, Cliff, I hope you're doing well. And, are you excited about this new season coming up? And it'd be really cool to see who shows up, right? Things like that. So I definitely know there were some people reaching out and making some inquiries and things like that. So, yeah, but I would love to see All-Stars because there's people I'd like to see get another chance to play the game. Some people who I just feel like they kind of not betrayed. It's just some people just got unlucky in the way they went home. And I like to see some of them and some people who are winners or close to winners who I either think really absolutely deserve that win, and others who I think, you just got a little bit lucky. I'm not sure you're quite the game player that some people think you are. I'd like to see some of those different types match up and see who really deserves the title. Look at Survivor. We had the winners at war, whatever it was, and Sandra won her second season, and she absolutely deserved it. So I'd like to see it. I just don't know how they get away from the pre-gaming type situation that took place, because I think that kind of spoiled season 22. All right, 7:43. Let's do a real quick review if we could. And I'll still have any questions come. I'll try answering. But I wanted to go through and kind of give some grades for Big Brother 26 and talk about it. The first thing I want to do, and bear with me, I'll go quick with it. I did. If you go back and look in the playlist for Big Brother 26, the very first episode should be preseason cast assessment, where I talked about every house guest and I talked about how I thought they were going to finish the season. I'm not going to go into all the details with them. I just thought I'd tell you how I thought each house guest would go and let you decide, did I do a good job at my preseason assessment or not? I got my opinion, but I'll tell y'all and then y'all decide. Alphabetical order. Angela, 50 years old. I said, I think she goes out pre-jury. In fact, I think Angela could be the first boot of the season. So much for that one. Brooklyn Rivera, 34 years old. I think she'll make it to the jury, but she'll be an early jury finish. She'll just barely make it on the jury. Kind of missed that one as well. Cam, guy has a great smile, charisma, and positivity. I'm predicting a top 5 finish. He could maybe even win this thing. I'm going to call that a success. If he'd won a few competitions, I think he could have been in the running, but he did make it to top 5. So I'll call that one good. Cedric, I said, I think he'll make an early jury appearance. He'll be one of the first ones to make it on the jury. I thought he'd last a little longer than he did. So we've got that. Chelsea, 27 years old, super fan. I think she'll be an early jury boot. That she'll make it to jury, but just barely. Another wrong one for old Boss Hog here. Joseph, I said he looked like Borat. I said he's going to be he early jury, but he might go further depending on how he plays the game. I'll call that a success. Kenny. Yeah, Kenny. I had such high hopes for Kenny. He could be great at manipulating people. I think Kenny will be a final 5 finish. Well, that's right up there with Angela, maybe even a worse prediction than Angela's was. So on that one. Chemo, early jury boot. He made jury last a little bit longer than I thought. Lisa, pre-jury boot. All right, I called it correctly on Lisa. I thought that she may be in over her head a little bit. Food only goes so far is what I'd mentioned. Mackenzie, 22 years old from Houston. Said that she has some showman's potential. Almost, if it wasn't for Matt leaving as early as he did, that she could have a connection with Brooklyn from Dallas. And I thought she would finish in the jury, but one of the first jury members for the season. Didn't count on her being a final 2 and could have been the winner. Matt, 25 years old from Georgia. Nice guy. He could win America's favorite. Where there'll be stereotypes about him, I think he'll finish in the final 5. Yeah, not so much. So I said Angela's the first one out. Matt could be final 5 along with Kenny. It just goes to show that you can't really judge these people by a photograph and a couple of sentences on a CBS website. Quinn, I said he'd be early jury. Yeah, all right, close. Rabina, I said competitive, but I thought she'd be pre-jury boot. You don't know how to count or depend on the alliances that form and all that. T-Core, I thought she'd be a top 5 finish. I did think that. Tucker, I said that he'll go far. Compared himself to Ian. Tucker was my winner's pick. I knew I saw something in Tucker. It just wasn't the crazy side that it turns out he had. I thought he would be a little more subtle in his power moves and all that and get a little further. Not so much. So I called him my winner's pick. Hey, he's America's favorite winner's pick. So I kind of got it right. But yeah, so I probably missed a lot more than I got right, which doesn't bother me because it's just more evidence every year that you shouldn't depend on what you see up here to pick who's going to do well or not do well in any season. There's so much more to these people than what you see in these biographies. When I had to write my biography, because I didn't send in a video, I did a casting call and they said, Cliff, come back. We want to get some video of you. we need you to come back. This is like at 9 o'clock at night. We need you to come back, fill out all the forms, and can you be back tomorrow to film some stuff? Yeah, sure. So I just went through and I filled out my application without thinking twice. Just put down random stuff. I mean, not random, but I didn't think long and hard about what I put down. And I really thought, okay, if I make it on the show, I'm going to get to revise my thing and clean it up and all. Never saw it again. Next thing I know, I get out of the house. I'm looking at this application I filled out at 2 o'clock in the morning while I'm trying to get everything done before going back to be on video. So yeah, some of these people may have done the same thing as well. So there you go. All right. So that's the house guest. So Cliff's preseason assessment, I'll give that a solid grade of a D plus and be happy for it. Casting, I think these 16 house guests gets a solid A from me. They did a fantastic job. The variety of these house guests I thought were fantastic. They all had stories to tell. I like this cast going in. I haven't changed my mind about it. Now that's different from gameplay. That's just based on the personalities and the people we had in there. I'm going to give it an A on that. Twist, I'm going to give it a B. I liked the first week twist for Mackenzie where she got to remove someone and America voted someone back onto the block. I thought that was top notch. I thought that would have been fine. Quinn's power of getting to control someone else's HOH. Now, if I was the person who was HOH, which was Angela, I would have been furious, absolutely upset at that twist. But as a viewer, him getting to take over that HOH, nominate people, do veto, everything, and not have anyone know it was him. Classic, a brilliant twist that he screwed it up because he couldn't keep his mouth shut. Oh, it would have been amazing if no one knew who it was. So I thought that was a fantastic twist. I like the BBAI Arena twist where you nominated the people and then they had to compete to see who got saved on eviction night. With 3 or 4 nominees per week, there was less room for people to hide, which I thought was kind of nice. It forced people to play the game a little bit more. There was more uncertainty, more chaos on eviction night itself. We didn't know going in who was going home every night, which you know on some seasons. So I like that. I'm glad it ended pre-jury and we got back more to a regular game of Big Brother. But I kind of like the BBAI Arena twist. The one twist that I was not a fan of, and I hope they don't do it again, I was not a fan of Janky World, where they had to spend a week out in the backyard. I don't think first of all, it was too hard to talk strategy in a single big open space in the backyard. So it was a very weak week in terms of strategic play and all of that. I don't think it advanced the game any. It's not like where they had the Dire Fest and people were voting out someone outside and inside. We didn't have any of that. I just feel like Janky World was just done to torture the house guest a little bit without any bigger motivation than that. So I did not like Janky World. It's just because of Janky, and we had that song as well. Just because of the song and because I didn't think it had helped the game any, that's why I take the twist down to a B. But it's still good. At least they kept the twist in the entire season. Yeah, was it season before we had the Netherworlds and all that, and we've had it's a BB takeover. We've had seasons where the twist just went away halfway through the season. Well, no, we got Ainsley and AI and stuff all the way from start to finish. So at least they saw it through. But yeah, I thought the twists were okay this season. I do wish they'd had a battle back. I'm not a fan of post-jury battle backs, but I'd like to see a preseason battle back like we had my season. And I missed not getting that this year. I wish they would have a battle back and then a triple eviction instead of a double, just to be a little different some seasons. But yeah, I still gave it a B for twist. The competitions, we saw a lot different competition. I'm going to give it a B minus grade for the competitions. I liked the decreased focus on the physical competitions. I thought it gave everyone a little bit more of a fair shot, but I feel like there were a few too many competitions this season that were repetitive of watch the video screen, pick A, B, or C real quickly based on where a mistake is or where hidden words are. It seems like too many of the competitions were just too similar to each other. I wasn't a big fan of that. I miss slip and slide. It's iconic. Bring it back unless there's insurance reasons that you can't do it. And I wish they had handled OTEV differently. I don't ever want to see anyone win OTEV on a single question again. If everyone gets it wrong, make them all scramble back down and find the right answer as quickly as possible. Do something as some kind of tiebreaker, but don't just say it ends right there. I didn't like that. And so for all those reasons, I'm going to give the competition a B minus. Now let's talk about the final one, gameplay. How did the house guests perform? Not just in terms of likability or quirkiness or anything else, but in terms of strategic gameplay. I can give that a C minus. So I'm dropping them down quite a bit. I feel like there were a few people who came into this game to absolutely play the game. Chelsea being the top notch one. But I really feel like there were even other people. Angela didn't play a perfect game, but I thought she was in there to play the game. I'll say the same thing for Quinn. Maybe for Brooklyn as well. There were people there who wanted to play the game. There were just too many people I felt that were in there who either did not know how to play the game or just played it horribly, or were just there to have a fun little summer adventure without necessarily wanting to be devious enough or wild enough to make big moves and to actually try to advance their game and try to win. And I won't bother. Y'all know the names, right? I could name half a dozen people out of that 16 right now. I could name 6 people who probably had no business being in there because they didn't do much to fight to play the game. They were too happy just to let other people decide things, and hopefully they'd make it. And if not, whatever. We had a fun summer. So gameplay wise, I wish I'd get more cutthroat people, more ruthless people. Now that's the problem with production. How do you know going in? Unless someone specifically says, yeah, I'm not going to get blood on my hands. I'm just there to have fun. If that's the case, maybe get one in like that. Yeah, you got to have some people. You got to have a lot of different people. But I feel like they kind of dropped the ball in terms of gameplay, that we could have had a few more strategic people. And I think if we they don't have to be super fans, but just maybe don't recruit as many people. Get some people who are at least familiar with the game and know some of the things that you have to do. And maybe give more bonuses the further you get in terms of stipends and things like that. I just don't want, I've said this before, I don't want anyone comfortable in that house. Now, most of the time you're not comfortable if you think that you're going home. This season, I think there are people that even when they thought they were going home, they were still pretty comfortable in the house. I don't want that. I want there to be more on the line. And I just feel like a lot of these house guests let us down a little bit in terms of gameplay. All that being said, I judged the way the game is played completely different than I judged the person themselves. And so even some of the people I felt were just absolute pieces of furniture in the house and did nothing to advance their game, it doesn't mean I hold it against them. Doesn't mean that when I meet them, I'm not going to still be happy and love to talk Big Brother with them and get their impressions and perceptions and opinions and everything else. I keep the two very separate. I hope y'all do as well. I have not seen as much this season. It seems like there's really some toxic social media. I haven't seen nearly as much this year directed towards these house guests. I think that's a good thing. A little bit, but not nearly as much as sometimes you get. So hopefully for the most part, whether they played a good game or a bad game, most of these house guests hopefully didn't generate a whole lot of hatred. Now, having said that, there's a few that I've seen a few things here or there that I thought were over the top, but that's to be expected when you go on a reality show, especially one like Big Brother, where you're exposed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What an incredible social experiment. Now these house guests, I did see an interview with Mackenzie where she's talking about what a number it did on her being in a house, and that it's going to take her a while to readjust to the real world and all that. I get it. And she mentioned the fact that, you have the free counseling, psychologists, things like that. I took advantage of it during my season. I hope these house guests do. It really does. It's more than just going on a TV show. It's not like going on, Let's Make a Deal, Angela, and you dress up in a costume and you win either a goat or a car or something. No, this is the fact that you play this game as long as you do, and you're exposed to those cameras all day, every single day. And people are out to get you. It really does a number on your psyche, and it does take some getting used to. So please, y'all keep that in mind as y'all meet these house guests, that they were incredibly brave to put themselves out there and do what they did. Not everyone can do it. So there you go, guys. So that's my cast assessment. Put down in the comments. Tell me what y'all think. Gameplay, twist, competitions. And winner. I didn't mention that. Winner, A plus. Chelsea absolutely deserve this going away over anyone else in the house. There's some seasons where I say, yeah, I don't think the best person won. I think the best person won this season. I can't think of anyone else. If Chelsea had gotten drugged or if Chelsea had not getting drugged to the end by McKenzie, if McKenzie had taken Cam, I'd be saying close to the same thing about her. I just think Chelsea played a brilliant game. She deserves it. I'd like to see her come back and compete against some other winners as well. All right, what else do we have on here before we shut it down? I think that's probably about it. It's 7:58, so we'll just call it good, guys. We're done with Big Brother 27. That doesn't mean that we still won't talk about it. Any questions y'all got about postseason? Start off with the hashtag Big Brother 27. You're pretty quick, right? I'll be here before you know it. Any questions y'all got on Big Brother, I'll continue to address them off season or not. We'll do that. We'll certainly start talking more about Survivor, and y'all let me know what other reality shows are out there that I need to be watching and maybe commenting on, and I'll see what I can do for it. Guys, have a fantastic Monday. It's been a wild summer. It's been a stressful and tiring summer, but hey, life goes on. I hope y'all have a fantastic next week. It's the 28th, and then after that, it's Halloween. So yeah, maybe by 200th episode, we'll just be celebrating Halloween a little bit. We'll talk about that some. Guys, have a fantastic next week. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, turning on notifications, hitting the old thumbs up. But just as important as that, let me know in the comments. What do you think about this? I really want to hear what y'all's thoughts are. How much do I line up with y'all in terms of y'all's evaluation? Guys, have a great Monday. I will see y'all next Monday. Until then, SKD143. Cheers, my friends. Bye. Janky, Jankie. Yeah, you'll never hear that from me again. Bye, guys.